Welcome to Disturbingly Cheap Reviews. This week, we take a look at the latest in a long line of Cuba Gooding Jr. direct-to-DVD releases, also featuring Christian Slater. It's Sacrifice. In it, we follow two characters for the most part. Cuba Gooding Jr., a normally undercover cop currently becoming an alcoholic loner due to his family being killed by a drug cartel, and Mike, the young drug dealer wanting to get out of the life in order to better take care of his 5-year-old sister. The whole story revolves around a drug deal involving statues of the Virgin Mary made out of heroin. While Cuba is trying to track down the drug dealers, Mike steals one to try and bargain his way out of a life of crime, donating it to a local church which just happens to be ran by the worst preacher ever, Christian Slater. Now the movie is very blunt with Cuba's character. Numerous times we are reminded what happened to his family, either from flashbacks, voiceovers, or scenes of Cuba just drinking and looking sad. It ends up slowing things down to bash us with what we already know. And dull moments are routine here. The movie runs around 2 hours long, leaving itself open for multiple scenes that just drag or repeat information. This might be because the movie is absolutely jam-packed with characters, many of which end up needing information already shown in earlier scenes told to them. This movie does dip from serious to quirky at times, such as one scene where Cuba needs information on where to find someone, so he goes to a weird voodoo man who is surrounded by snakes. I have no clue who that guy was, and it doesn't really matter because he gives Cuba what he wants and then disappears into a plot convenience abyss. Cuba turns in a good performance, although at times it feels like he was going over the top on a Dirty Harry impersonation. I give the movie a C-. There are occasional moments that kept me from declaring this movie a loss. If you're a Cuba fan, you may enjoy parts of it. It's just one of those things where if you read the plot and if it sounds interesting, you'll probably think it's okay. And now, some fresh spoilers. So Mike gets killed about midway through the movie, despite being the most compelling character. By the power of convenience, his little sister ends up with the ever-reliable alcoholic Cuba Gooding Jr. Since Mike had stolen a statue of heroin, the bad guys kidnapped the girl, assuming he'd share the information with her. This sends Cuba off into a freaking death wish shooting spree, as he has flashbacks of his own daughter, and then moves from location to location, wiping out established villain characters. Which was kind of fun. The movie even lampshades itself at one point when Cuba is threatened with death for about the 10th time, and replies along the lines of, "That's what I keep hearing." It all ends up in Christian Slater's church, so that Cuba and Christian can have a shootout with the remaining baddies. After dispatching said baddies and racking up multiple notches on commandment number 6, the good guys burn the statue. We fade out and back in to Cuba with a new wife and having adopted the adorable brotherless child. The movie ends with him getting a call alerting him that they found out who killed his family. I don't know if that's supposed to be a sequel tease or just wrapping everything up in 30 seconds. And speaking of wrapping things up, until next time, make my day.